Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Fuck them kids. All right.
And with that,
that's a good place to start. I just lost my notes though, so let me pull those back up.
okay.
That is a good place to start though. Hello and welcome to episode 310 of the Hooniverse podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Glucker. Joining me is my wonderful co-host, Ronathan Baugh. How are you?
Gang, what's happening? Ooh,
cheers, buddy.
What are you sipping on?
A little Fresquila.
Oh, yeah?
Tequila and Fresca.
Wow, I didn't even know they still made Fresca.
Oh, I buy most of it. Because it is, I didn't discover Fresca until COVID, and it is like my favorite drink on the planet now. Yes, I never had Fresca. Never had Fresca.
I would have sworn Fresca went out of business in like the late 90s.
No, sir.
That was a thing for a hot minute in Atlanta. It's a Coca-Cola product, or at least it was. I don't know how they've rebranded. What flavor is it anyway?
Grapefruit, but it's not. It's grapefruit citrus. But the funny thing is, I hate grapefruit. But this is delicious. The Topo Chico grapefruit is delicious. This is better. Tequila and Fresca is the shit. It's like that Key and Peele sketch when they're the valet attendants. I could blast off into the sky. What are you drinking?
My steady bullet bourbon.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff. I just closed the window, so I'm reopening it so I can rest. All right. We're bringing back a thing we were doing there, and I said we're going to do it, and then we didn't do it because we had a guest, and by the way, everybody loved Michael Thomas from Pennzoil.
Oh, he was the greatest.
I was getting texts like people listening, like, this guy is amazing. I'm going to switch to Pennzoil, which I should tell Pennzoil that.
I loved his boogie van, man.
I know. For those of you who heard that episode, He told us about the van. Then he did send us pictures of his van, and it is as insanely awesome as he described.
100%.
Yeah,
I want to track that down along with my dad's Pantera. I feel like those are the two coolest cars of the 70s that just like faded into obscurity.
Well, sir, that segues perfectly into our
right?
Bring a Trailer thing. Though I didn't pick the Pantera as one of the good or bads. I picked it as an example because there were so many this time around because it's been a bit since we did it. Let me pull up my other window so I have that up in front of me. But there were so many last time around that there was a lot to choose from, and I think there would be some that we would be split on. But one that I had that where the hell did it go? Oh, did I not put it? I didn't put it up here because it was one of the ones I didn't pick. But there was a 72 Pantera, modified, but like looked good, red, and it went for 150, and I thought that was okay.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of depending on restoration, survivor, depending on what modifications were performed or how close to stock it was. Like,
right.
You're not gonna find one for less than $80,000 in rough shape,
right.
And 150. I mean, for a good car, that's about right now.
Yeah, so I thought that was a good one. Another one that I think goes on the crazy side. I don't know if you saw this one. It was a Resto modded F-150 on a Raptor chassis that looked weird.
Was it
like it looked like it was
Centurion style, like 4-door?
Yeah, like kind of Centurion style.
4-door with like a Bronco cap.
It didn't. I don't remember if it had the cap or not. Like it went for 196,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I had that in the potentially crazy side. Here's one I think we would have split on.
Buy a Raptor.
Well, yeah, no shit. Or like a trophy truck, throw an interior in. Yeah. Another one that I didn't pick was a 1990 Land Rover Discovery, but it won the Camel Trophy in Siberia for 138. So like,
it's weird to think of off-road provenance, but
but that's like
any more legit than that. So
yeah.
I get it.
Okay, so here are our real results, and I have 3 crazy ones and 1 good one.
Okay.
So the first one is a modified 1981 DeLorean DMC 12.
The twin turbo Kia powered car?
Yes. 6-speed manual.
$230,000.
243.
Outstanding
Bonkers.
And outrageous. Like, obviously you can't build that. Like,
right.
You could probably build it for that money, but I mean, it's supposedly the quickest and fastest DeLorean on the planet, right?
It has such a hodgepodge of parts. It's wild.
Right.
So Kia Stinger engine with twin Garrett turbos, which is dope. 6-speed manual, transaxle, and a limited slip. The limited slip comes from a 996.2911. Has Recaro seats, KW coilovers. It has Ferrari 348 Challenge sourced brake calipers, which I don't even understand why it would need that.
Yeah.
It's for sale it was for sale in San Diego with a Michigan title. There's
a lot going on there. I mean, I've kind of had time to digest, and like that car has been kind of made the rounds. Like it was on Hoonigans this versus that, and like I don't remember what they raced, but something cool. But I mean, I've seen the car, I know the car, and you know, it's a weird combo for sure. Would I pay that if I were well heeled and capable? Probably not. But you know, like the world's fastest DeLorean, like that has some cachet to it. It
looks really well done.
Right.
The price is just
when I think of the Ferraris, the Porsches, the certain to appreciate assets and European supercars that I could buy for that money, there's no way I would consider that. But
right. You're not
it's the driver, like, you know, that's something you can enjoy every day, and not. I guess if you're not worried about appreciation, you're not worried about, you know, keeping that thing pristine. Like it's
if the person bought it as an investment, I would say it's a poor investment.
Right.
If they bought it to drive it and they just do not give a shit about money, you know what? Go have fun.
Sure.
Also, you could have spent your money better. But let's move on to the next one. A 1983 Volkswagen Rabbit GTI Callaway Turbo Stage 2. So I don't know if you know, but you know, Callaway used to tune these. Okay.
Yeah.
62 grand.
Dude, how rare were those? And like that was like a bunch of like the Callaway tuning empire. Like
I know
that has provenance. And like
I knew cool. I knew you would argue for this one.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still a 200 horsepower Rabbit.
Sure, but that's a riot. 200 horsepower in that thing. I mean,
I know it weighs nothing. It weighs nothing.
I'm all in on this, and I'm not a VW guy. In fact, like the worst car that I ever owned was I guess it was a Mark IV Jetta that I had to buy because
when you were in a sorority.
Pretty much.
And I will say, the interior is spotlessly clean. Like, and the outside looks stock or like basic and sleepery. Yeah. I don't even think there's like a Callaway badge on it, or you know, I don't think that was something they did. So, but just 62 feels high for I get it, and I agree with all your points.
I don't think it's high at all.
All right, this one
that's something that would be fun to drive. I mean, how many miles is that one? Is it like,
it says it's like 19,000 or something.
Okay, yeah, it's not too low miles where you can't drive it.
Yeah, you can definitely drive it.
It's not worn out. Like I don't know. I think that would be super fun.
Yeah. All right, here's one I think you're going to agree with me on: a 1987 Volvo wagon, very clean, 60,000 miles, 35 grand. That's stupid.
Turbo 5?
No, it's fucking stock.
But I'm saying, like, factory, like, one of my best friends growing up, Jay Stevens, his mom had a turbo wagon. What year was it? Which year did you say?
This is an 87.
So is it like the low squat? Like, I don't remember. 760?
It's like the old Swedish looking brick thing. It's not the cool. It's not the cool. It's a DL. It's not the cool turbos. It's a regular ass inline 4 automatic beige. The interior looks nice and clean, but 30. I mean, the car is spotless.
Okay,
but I mean, 35 grand.
That's nostalgia. Tugging at someone's heartstrings. Like
this was someone's like went to Radwood.
Their mom's car, the car that like they were, you know, shuttled to and from school and karate or soccer practicing. But
karate.
Would I spin that? No.
I got my yellow belt.
Don't laugh at me.
I got my yellow belt in one of those. All right, we're moving on to the one that I think was very well bought. A no reserve sale on a 1973 Toyota Crown Super Saloon. So this is like a dope looking Japanese gangster sedan.
Does Super Saloon mean stretch like limo or? Is it
no, it's just the name for the car. I'm going to text it to you right now so you can pull it up and see what the hell I'm looking at, because I think you're going to appreciate the aesthetic on this one. As a fan of, you know, you've added some JDM elements into some of your own shit. And then
There it
quit
is.
messages. So no one.
Oh,
so,
yeah, dude. I love that body style. I really do.
17.5.
Yeah. That's a steal. I would
Yes.
love to have that. I don't care what powers it, as long as it's as clean inside as it is
It's like
outside.
a cool little inline six
Super
with a 3-speed manual, SSR 14-inch SSR wheels that look perfect for the car. It's in clean California title too. Shit, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
41,000 miles, 17.5. That's a steal. The car looks flawless.
100%.
Awesome. Whoever bought that won this round of Bring a Trailer. So There you go. Now we're going to slide over to some more modern shit. We both, not together, but we both attended the LA Auto show in quotes, because it was kind of weird. So what did you see? I'll start with you. What did you see that you liked?
Well, I'll start with the weird.
Okay.
It was weird seeing the halls kind of just like SEMA, kind of cordoned off to make the space more intimate.
Yeah.
They probably, they didn't cut the halls in half, but it was probably 2/3 capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And that was weird. But what was really weird was seeing like ride and drives within the halls, like inside the building. Like Mustang, Ford was giving Mustang Mach-E and F-150 Lightning ride-alongs. And it was just like short spurt, like probably, I guess not even a football field, probably
it was short
60, 80-yard sprint. And then they'd run back and, just pick up new guests. And they were just, running in cycles all day long. That was weird. It was, something that you'd expect to see outside. I mean, I guess it was a cool experience, but the fact that, there's zero emissions vehicles and they can do that, it's inside now.
Yeah. And
I just felt bad for all the people in the surrounding booths, because all you'd hear was tire screeching.
The
entire time. I spent a lot of time in the Ford booth and Stellantis, right around there. And it was annoying. It was I almost brought noise canceling headphones.
Oh geez.
Just so I could walk around and kind of because I went on, when did I go? I went Thanksgiving or the day after, and
was it packed?
No, it wasn't packed at all. But I went within 2 hours of the show closing, and I just wanted to zone out and just kind of, really get inspiration. I didn't think I was going to see anything groundbreaking or new that I hadn't seen either online or in person myself. And I didn't, but the only thing that surprised me was there was a couple of Chinese manufacturers that had really big, and I don't want to say impressive booths, but they weren't laughable.
They had a presence. Yeah.
I can't remember. There was one that had an SUV that was pretty distinct, and I don't know, with the absence of Mercedes, with the absence of Audi, BMW, Porsche stole the show, and it's just they're undeniable. Everything that they displayed was incredible. The Mission R was my favorite thing at the show. If that's the harbinger of the next Cayman, I'm all in personally.
Yeah.
It's not going to suck. That. And the dogs went crazy. The Taycan GTS.
Oh God. Yeah.
Just the coolest thing.
I'm driving.
There's very few cars that I would drive just bone stock as they are. And that is it.
I'm driving that one next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that one. The GTS Sport Turismo was just, you walk in, you see the GT4 RS, which is wild that they built that.
I love the matte metallic blue wheels.
Yes.
I'm all in on that.
But I looked right over the roof of it and you see the red wagon. You're like, give me that shit. That's I had a list of the vehicles that let me just pull that up. Yeah. I had a list of the vehicles, and it goes GTS Sport Turismo, Cayman GT4 RS. But then the other one I think that was interesting was the Challenger Jailbreak.
Yep.
Just because the concept of that one is, which is something I've always wanted in modern cars, which you can't do, is I want the crazy high performance one, but I want basic ass seats and then the best sound system. I want to mix and match shit. And the Jailbreak is supposed to get back to here's the options list, you know?
Exactly. Individualized, I don't know, it's somewhat contrived, but I think it's cool. It's it's obviously it's a last hurrah for, Mopar, for Dodge.
Right.
They've already announced that they're, ending at least Charger Challenger production as we know it, and after 2023. So it's like you can make your one-off like Mopar, almost like the old days. Like it was like all the cars that all the Hemi Cudas that sold at Bear Jackson
for $1 million,
$500,000.
It's a 101 because I got the black top,
4-speed with the white interior with the black vinyl. Yeah, exactly. It's like they're allowing customers to individualize, like really individualize, and like unlock like all the silly color combinations.
I got statutory grape for the spoiler guards, and no one else has that. So that's a 101.
Like, oh my god! Like I don't.
And it protects my my hiding child doll. The fuck are those called?
Right.
We were talking about those. But the fact that the fact that they're letting you do it is awesome.
Sure.
I really like that.
I agree with you. Like I feel like the way to do it is to decontent and like make it as light as possible and just like as old school as possible. But I feel like like most people are going to go the opposite way. They're going to option all the way up and just make the goofiest color combinations and just like have, I think 100% like orange calipers. I'm going to have brown interior. I'm going to have the brown leather interior with red seat belts. And it's just, there are going to be some atrocities. And it's like, just because you're the only one doesn't make your shit more valuable.
1,000%.
There's a reason why nobody else did that shit.
Yep. You're totally right. That's exactly what's going to happen. And I bet they knew this too. They're like, yeah, we'll let them choose. They're going to check every fucking box, but let them choose. Like, oh, I ordered a Challenger, but I also somehow they let me order the Demon crate, but I don't have a Demon, but I did it anyway. Like, okay, dumb shit. And I ordered 5 days at Bondurant, but I don't live near there and I have no plans to go. And yeah, that's definitely what's going to happen. Yeah, the LA Auto Show was weird. There was some interesting stuff, but Porsche usually.
Was there anything that surprised you? Like,
that I wanted to adopt the dog that I saw in Subaru's booth.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Subaru every day was showing different. They had a little like petting area for available adoptable foster dogs.
I feel like they did that the last show in 2019.
It's their thing, yeah. But they had a much bigger booth this year because they could. And the day that I was there on the press day, there was a Basset Hound in there that just was like the most friendly dog. And I didn't realize they were rescue dogs. Like, yeah, I'm the foster mom. That dog's name is Riley. And I'm like, I was texting my wife. I'm like, we might have to get this dog. So.
Yeah. Speaking of dogs, I'm dog sitting again. This is Yoshi. Say hi, Yoshi. I don't know. He's like 18 months old, and he's a sweetheart, but he's scared of everything. So he's just right now he's trying to get at his tennis ball, which is just between like my console and like a planter.
Is this one potty trained?
Oh, totally. Yeah, he's like a year and a half old. He's great. Like he's been home by himself all day, and like he's such a sweetheart. But like I said, he's scared of everything. He won't go between a space this small to go get his tennis ball, so you might hear him crying.
Oh, cute.
But seeing as we're talking about dogs.
Right.
Always got
now, switching to a different show that we both attended where you had to do a dress change because you broke your cool-ass sneakers. Radwood SoCal 2021.
Yeah.
You brought the 777 Ho.
Mm-hmm.
So same question for the LA Auto Show. What did you see that stood out to you that you liked?
Okay, I mean, they're kind of a stalwart at the Radwood SoCal shows, but CMS Motorsports, my buddy Schnapp, like he comes hard. Like he had a tractor trailer with like 6 cars on it, plus like a couple flatbeds, plus he had friends drive cars, and it was like almost all like crazy exclusive AMG cars, like like 560 SECs. Like he has one with a gull wing. He had like 2 convertibles. All like wide body, just like the most outrageous shit. And like he had I don't think it was Raddest in show, but I think it was Raddest domestic was his JBA Dominator Fox body.
Oh, that was his too?
Yeah. That white wide body Mustang.
Yeah.
Old school HREs.
IRS too, right?
F40. No, I don't think it has IRS.
No? Oh, okay.
That, super tall F40 style wheel, like wing, excuse me, that that car, like I mean, I think they only built like a handful of them, but that was, one of my dream cars as a kid. His is so clean, and he's got like a bunch of Saloons and stuff. He's just got an incredible collection, and like.
And for people who don't know who this guy is, so CMS Motoring in LA, like nobody really knows what they sell. It just exists for Sean to collect these cars. And I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. He looks like he could be like the main villain in a John Wick movie, but he's the nicest guy. But he even has like dudes around him who look like who could be his lieutenants.
Right.
And they're all having a blast. They're dressed in costume. He had like a full track suit with his slick back long hair. And he brings the party and the show he organized. And I was talking to the Radwood guys about him. We were all talking. They're like, yeah, at the very first show, he like tried to set up branding, but he didn't know that we had like people pay to be there. And he totally got it. And every other show, he gets it. He's a part of it. He brings it. And I mean, he is, as far as like SoCal Radwood goes, I don't know if he goes to the other Radwoods, but he is a force to reckon with in the best way possible at SoCal Radwood.
I don't know if they awarded this past year or since I think it was 2017 when Farrah won it. But when Farrah brought like 4 cars,
is that when he had his Lambo?
No, it was before that. He had his Fox Body Mustang. He had his SL. He had the Million Mile Lexus, and I think something else. But he was awarded
passed the crown.
Yeah, he was awarded King of Radwood that year.
Yeah, well, he needs to pass that crown.
Yeah, Sean should 100% be King of Radwood.
I'm going to talk about that with Brad on Saturday. I'm going to see Brad on Saturday, and I'm going to bring that shit up. And I bet Farrah would agree at this point, even though he could come back with some of his stuff, but still Sean has more stuff. That's so the things that stood out to me was there was a Suzuki Samurai with all the speakers.
I missed that. I saw it, but like I didn't get to enjoy it. I didn't think this through. Let me take this ball from this kid.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
So the license plate said Raddest, and it was very period correct. And there was no back seat. The whole back half was like subs and speakers, and it was insane. My next bullet point was CMS's entire setup.
Yeah.
I love the Dodgy Band. They brought break dancers.
That was what was most impressive to me was that they had break dancers dancing to, period music, playing from his 560 SEC convertible wide body, like the crazy system, and that like the back seat was replaced with subs, and it was just an insane
the sound system in that car.
Was so good.
It sounded better than like the overall DJ sound system at the show.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how much that system cost at the time it was installed, but it sounds.
Yeah, I feel like that's a new build. Honestly. Like I think that was the debut, and I think it was all new, guts and technology and everything in that car.
It was awesome. Obviously, I like that Ferrari 308 that ended up winning Radisson show, the rally style Ferrari. Apparently, that guy's driven that thing to like the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Yeah.
He's been all over the States, but I didn't know he'd been like.
I didn't know that bit either. I was talking to Brad about that, who on the last episode of this podcast, he said that guy showed up at Radwood, NorCal, and then either like a week later or the week before, he was like in the Arctic Circle with the car. And then I know Fred Williams from Dirt Every Day posted a picture of the car randomly in Utah. And then I knew about the car because I saw it driving through Colorado. So then all of a sudden it was there and had a wheel parked on the guy is obviously, I don't know what, like, it's like he must be like one of those van lifers who can work from everywhere, or he doesn't need to work. Right. And either way, he's having a lot of fun and doing it right.
Good for him, man. Yeah, I ran into somebody that was like, oh, I saw that guy in Colorado 48 hours ago.
Right.
Like he just treks that thing all over the country. I'd really love to hear like stories of maintenance and what is in that thing that allows him to travel far and wide, without breaking down, without having major mechanical malfunctions.
Because you can't just pop into like AutoZone and get like Ferrari 308 shit.
Exactly. Your Rally 308.
Yeah, Rally 308. So awesome. The other thing I like was the Dodgy Band. The Dodgy Band.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I follow that dude on Instagram. I've never seen it in person. I don't think I realized that it has, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, like six seats, and they're all race seats.
Yep.
I want to build one of these so bad.
I want to build a Chevy Astro version of that, but like slammed on air, same deal, like 6 racing buckets, like a crazy stereo. I just feel like that's like the ultimate like LA to Vegas shuttle, LA to Palm Springs, like take, like 4 of your friends, like 3 couples, just jam out to the desert. But like the Dodge Bomber is cool as hell. But like, like he's got rotiforms, so I definitely love that van. And like he's just like he's an ambassador, man. He's just like the nicest guy. He's like an ambassador for like custom car culture here in Southern California. Like he's just super nice. He's everywhere. He's got like a Saab wagon that I don't know shit about Saabs, but it's pretty cool too. And,
nice.
Yeah, he's just like the nicest, most genuine dude.
I love that van. It's so well done. It's really, really, really good.
I think like the 2 front seats are a different color than the 4 rear seats. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, little touches to detail, or he just happened to like had the money for the front 2, and then he had the money for the 4, and they're like, you can only get red for those. He's like, fuck it, do it. But who knows? Now, different area. Literally today.
Let me thank Art, Brad, the whole gang.
Oh yeah,
Radwood for allowing me to leave and come back and saving my spot because my shoes disintegrated. I did kind of like an Instagram poll the night before, like what should I wear? Like, you know, I had like this Dale Earnhardt satin jacket and a Bill Elliott satin jacket, and like my plan was to bring both my Mustang and my Tahoe.
Wow.
So I was gonna do an outfit change, like from Chevy to Ford guy.
Yeah,
but Mustang didn't make it. We'll talk about that another time. I don't want to raise my blood pressure tonight. But anyway, like I wore these shoes, these Air Assault 2s, and I bought the shoes. They were brand new in 2007. And I kind of retired them. Like I haven't worn them in forever because I have to tell this story.
You know, I was going to say, tell it.
I wore these shoes the week that they first came out. I wore them to a Roots concert at it was like whatever the Hollywood, I think it was called the Gibson Amphitheater or something like that. Like it doesn't exist anymore, but it's where Harry Potter is now at Universal City.
Okay.
And it was a cool concert venue, and like the Roots were playing there in 2007. And my friends somehow got backstage passes. We're back there, and we saw Dave Chappelle, and it just started raining, and backstage is mostly outdoor there. So it just started raining, and like my buddy was like, "Hey Dave, like, you know, can we get a picture?" He's like, "Sure." He's smoking a cigarette. Dave and I step into like a doorway, and like he takes a picture with me. And then my buddy Paul, who took the picture, he's like, after we finished, like, you know, we exchanged pleasantries, whatever. Dave was super cool. My buddy Paul's like, "Ron," he like looks down at our feet, and I'm just like, "What?" Yeah, no, it's Dave Chappelle, dude. Like we just met him. Like, you know, his shoes. And I look down, and Dave and I are wearing the same shoes. It's those Air Assaults that had just come out that week, and Air Assault 2s actually. And Dave and I both look down at the same time and go, "Oh shit!" And like it was just like the coolest moment of my life. And I was like, "That's it, we're out! Like everybody, let's go!" Like I was like, "It's not going to get any better than this. Let's go!" But yeah, like I kind of retired those shoes because of that. And I was just like, you know, like I don't really collect shoes. I just buy shoes that I like to wear. You know, I got a bunch of shoes, and I like, you know, all sorts of mainly Nikes, but. Anyway, like I just put those on the shelf and I never wore them, and I brought them out for Radwood and they just disintegrated. Like I ended up tying my shoelace around the sole to keep it together, and I'm just flopping about and they're just crumbling, and it's just like the most embarrassing thing ever. So I finally tracked, I don't think it was Art, but I tracked one of the guys down, and I was just like, "Dude, can I please go home and like, can I drive home? I'm like 10 minutes away, and like, you know, will you save my spot?" They're like, "Yeah, dude, go for it." So
yeah,
I really appreciate them for that. And like, you know, they're super cool and like accommodating, and it would have sucked to have to walk around in my sock feet for the rest of the day.
Yes. And you're going to, it's funny we talk about cars this way, but you're going to get the sneakers restored.
100%. There's a couple places, but there's one here in Long Beach. I think it's called Hillary, and I've got a couple pairs of shoes that I need now to have restored, and like they do an incredible job. So
awesome.
Hopefully they'll take care of me. I'm sure I'm going to spend an exorbitant amount of money for some shoes that are not worth a hell of a lot. But
I thought those were like Jordan 1s. Air Assault 2s.
Assault 2.
I got to look those up. All right, cool. Yeah, they're definitely worth saving. That's funny too. And there was a super awesome car parked near yours. Was it a Caprice? Yeah. Like boxy
bull bar on the front. Yeah, it was a box Chevy Caprice, like full police package.
But like almost sleeper police package, because the car was blacked out, no lights, but it had the big bumper on the front. It was I loved it. It was so awesome.
It was super intimidating. It was like, what was cool about that is like those guys like pretty much camped out in their car, Like they were just in the car for like at least 2 hours that I saw, just hanging out. Like they had a full crew and like people were like jumping out and jumping in. Like, you know, they were like, come get in the back seat. And like, you know, they were just hanging out, having a party in the car, which I thought was super cool.
Nice. Yeah. And that's funny because I did ask Brad about the beer thing. He's like, yeah, it was because it was at Acura. They were like, you cannot do that. He's like, but we made sure not to check coolers.
Right.
I was like, cool. Yeah. That helped us out later on in the day. And I was going to bring one and I didn't, but whatever. That's a different story. So, different topic here, changing from Radwood, to something old and new. Literally today, Volkswagen invited me out to Johnson Valley, which I had never been to before. I've never been to King of the Hammers, and I guess this is where King of the Hammers happens. And I got to drive 3 off-road vehicles. The first one was a 1969 Volkswagen Beetle, which was awesome. Like bad, but like in a really good way. And then the other two,
spec, like
full race. It was a race bug. Yeah, it had all the switches for lights. It had numbers. It competed. It had signatures on the inside of the roof.
Nice.
But like hilarious old steering wheel. It leaned so much, but you just like let it get there and ride it out, and it was fun. 4-speed, like. Driving the Montero out was probably a good idea to like prepare me for that car, because I was like, oh, okay, this is, you know, vague steering, and it was good. But the other 2 cars were their electric ID4s, both prepped for off-road, one more so than the other. One was the rear-wheel drive single motor ID4 that Tanner Faust and Emmy Hall drove in the Nora 1000. So that was kind of cool. And then the other one was an all-wheel drive dual motor that Mercedes Lilienthal drove at the Rebelle Rally. So the Rebelle Rally one is a bit more stock, much more stock because it's for Rebelle, but it has way more power and it's all-wheel drive. The rear-wheel drive one was full race spec, you know, seat, roll cage, fucking Tanner Faust seating position, but I fit, thankfully. But it was, you know, and then like all that cool shit. And I went out there expecting the rear wheel drive one to be the more fun one to drive, and the suspension was awesome because it had like 2-inch lift and Eibach and bigger tires and all the shit. I'm like, the suspension was amazing, but as soon as you turn, it wants to pull power back and all this shit. So the all-wheel drive one did not do that. Like the front motor wants to pull you through corners, and and they set up this little, like, not an autocross course, but they had we drove a couple miles out into the desert to a dry lake bed. And then out there they had like a thing for like a straight run. And then you set up for a slalom, and then you set up for like a little bit more of a little course, and you come back in. And the all-wheel drive one was an absolute blast. And there's only 3 journalists out there, so we just split time between the 3 cars. And
that's right.
It was fun. It was the vehicles were great. Even the Rebelle Rally one was like, on the way back, that was the one you had to be the most careful with over the whoops, but it still did it. And both cars were tuned up by like Reese Millen's shop in Huntington Beach. So they had like full underbody protection, Sparco wheels. I think they were running Yokohama Geolanders, which are like the most basic ATs, but they worked fine out there. But the Beetle was dope. The Beetle was super dope. Like, because on the little like slalom back and forth, you let it swing, and then it sets and it has so much camber. Like just sitting there, like there's just fucking camber, so much camber dialed in, because like if it jumps and shit, you know, and then you get back on the gas, and then you swing it the other way, and you get back on the gas, and it's like this big ass steering wheel. It was so much fun, covered in dust, but laughing and smiling and stuff like that. So it was good shit.
That sounds fun. It sounds a lot more fun than my last Johnson Valley excursion. It was in our buddy Anthony's Toyota Tundra TRD Pro.
Oh, okay.
I was basically chasing, like I was this when I was back in Hoonigan, I was basically shuttling one of our shooters from the high speed section of the King of the Hammers back to Hammertown and back door and all that stuff. And we were following like our guide, and we hit some whoops and just like collapsed a spring, a shock, like bent a control arm, and like the truck was just like this for like a day. And I was just like, dude, when I returned to him, I was like, I didn't notice this, but your truck is fucked. Like I was driving behind him the next day, and his truck was just on a gangster lean. I was just like, I'm sorry. Like I told you I didn't want to take your truck, but like I really didn't have an option. was like that or my Tahoe, and like, that wasn't going to work. But yeah, Johnson Valley is it can be torturous. Like if you don't know what you're doing, and I definitely didn't know. Like, not an off-road guy, but
we drove on part of the course for the Hammers, like one of just the silty whoops section. Like we weren't in the mountains, but we were based out of this shop that had the sickest. It was a 79 F-150 in the shop with a full like trophy truck underneath.
Sure.
Big twin I-beams up front, big King shocks. And then they had another truck in the corner that they bought off the guy. It's a like a pre-runner truck, but full trophy truck spec with like a nicer interior that was owned by the owner of Fox Shocks or some shit like that. It's like an $800,000 truck.
Was the shop like adjacent to Johnson Valley, like to the
yeah. It's right there.
Motorsports?
No.
Oh, okay.
Driven Experiences.
Oh, okay.
They're doing the dev work on the Bronco Raptor.
Right.
So they're like, we can't say much, but it's fucking sick. But the truck that they had a lot of cool shit there. But that 79 F, I posted it on my Instagram. It's gorgeous, red truck with just, I love vintage trophy trucks.
I know what you're talking about,
yeah. It's sick shit. But the Volkswagen stuff was fun. I'll have video out on that. They had a shooter there, which was very helpful. So with like red cameras, so I'm like, oh, it's gonna look a little bit nicer than the normal shit we do. Yeah. Let's jump into some Twitter questions.
Sure.
All right. First one is from our friend Josh Ostrander at Mr_Steal Your Dog. Why is the Porsche GTS Sport Turismo so much cooler than the 718 GT3? It's a GT4, but we'll forgive that. He always gets car shit wrong. He does. I'm going to say this because I know Josh is going to listen. Whenever because he's my video guy for Auto Trader, and whenever he writes the names of the files, it's like something final. He has the wrong years or something like this, and I laugh. And I used to get annoyed about it, but I have to let it go because why get annoyed about that?
But it's a GT4. Trying to make you look dumb.
Well, yeah. Why is the GTS Sport Turismo cooler than the GT3, GT4?
Yes. Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, 4-seater, sexy as fuck. Like, stance is just on point. Like, it showed really well in that red. Like, red, black wheels. I didn't even pay attention to the interior. Like, I know the interior's sick and sexy, but like Porsche just has their shit together. Like, everything is just stanced right. Like they had what is the Cayenne GT, like the GT3 equivalent of the
SUV.
Yeah, but like the slant back Cayenne, but it's
they have like the coupes
GT3 equivalent. Yeah. But there's also like beyond Turbo S. There's now like
the only thing beyond Turbo S is like SE hybrid.
No. The one with the gold wheels.
Oh, like the Nürburgring time setting one?
Yeah, whatever.
I forget what that's called, but exactly. I mean, they don't apply the GT3 nomenclature to those.
Right, of course, but it's the equivalent. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not GTS either. Like,
it might just be GT, to be totally honest.
Yeah. I think you're right. Anyway.
Coupe Turbo GT.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Like, that thing.
And it's
super sexy. Like everything they do now is just like, right. Like if there's one brand where if I were to buy a car, leave it stock, drive it forever, it would be a Porsche. Like,
yeah. Porsche. And the secret to the Porsche family is that the GTS is almost always the best all around one.
Right.
I love the GTS trim. If I had to get a 911, if I could afford a 911, like a GTS Targa, just because I don't like convertibles, but for some reason Targas, because I'm not gonna I don't care that it's gonna be heavier and all this shit.
Right.
A Targa 911 is like the jam for me.
100% for canyon carving, for hitting Malibu, like anywhere in Orange County, like that's the jam. Like,
oh yeah.
That top mechanism, like
it's cool.
I would build a glass garage and I could just sit and like hit the remote if I could and like just watch that thing go up and
do its thing. Yeah. At Sean Keeley too, whose Twitter handle at the moment is going by Happy Honda Days. It says you have 60,000 to build yourself the ultimate canyon carving project car. What is it and what modification? So if I ever had, I'll answer first, then you go. If I ever had 60,000 for one of these, the thing is, I would never buy one car. I'd buy like 5. But if I was going to build an ultimate canyon carving project car with 60 grand, what I would like my dream thing, because I think about this car all the time, is muscle with modern proper suspension. When I drove the Hotchkiss Challenger years ago, it was like a 3-4,
like a 70 or 72 Challenger.
Yeah, the yellow one. It was like 70. Yeah. And I forget, I think it had like a 340. Like it wasn't some monster engine, but the gearbox was perfect. The engine was perfect. Obviously, the suspension was so dialed. And I was like on the bumper in the video, because he wouldn't use turnouts, on the bumper of like a C5 Vet, and like, get the fuck out of my way. I am so much faster than you right now. So my ultimate canyon carving project car, not that you can build a fucking 70 Challenger for 60 grand. Unless you, it would be to find maybe some like other, like a Dart. You could find a Dart for cheap. Right. And then it would be in that vein. It would be a muscle car that would look muscle car-y on the outside with absolutely perfect suspension, and then like a not overkill, but perfect V8, because overkill, then you get yourself into trouble. Then you need bigger brakes. Then you need all this extra shit. There you go. Mine would be a muscle car. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you need bigger brakes and suspension and everything. Just
sure. Brakes and suspension are number one.
Yeah. Like, that's like the first thing that I would do to make sure that I'm safe and I'm not flying off the edge of a cliff. It's like, I'm a Mustang guy, and there's so many different Mustangs you could build for 60 grand that are super capable and super fun. Like, you could buy a box stock GT350. You could even buy a used GT350R, and like, you wouldn't have to do anything, and that'd be an incredible canyon carver. But I'm a Fox body lover through and through, and I would build a Fox body with probably either all Maximum Motorsports stuff, which I have mostly Maximum Motorsports suspension on my car. I've got QA1 coilovers. But I would probably build a Fox body, like, with Maximum Motorsports or Cortex stuff. Like, Cortex has a SLA front end. It's like super re-engineered, and it's like all modern technology, and it's like all billet control arms and stuff. And like,
damn,
their stuff is pretty much untouchable, according to our buddy Mike Musto. He had an S550 Mustang with all their stuff, and it was like he had.
Oh, that was the one he was racing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and it's like, he said it was totally streetable and like mild mannered, and like it was totally chill, like when you want it to be, but it was a track killer. So I'd probably do something like that, and I don't know. I don't want to say the Derrigor Coyote powered. I would probably still stick with the small block Ford, like a
302.
302, like stroker motor, like high winding, like something that. So what do they rev out and just enjoy?
They bore those like 347s or something like that.
You get to 347 with the 302 with the 351. You can get to a 427, and I'd probably do like Borley induction. Like, they had like straight stack, like electronic fuel injection, and like long tubes and stuff. Like, kind of old school, kind of new school. Like,
you just reminded me of a build that I really like. It's I'm not going to change my answer, but there was it the dude? No, not the dude from Gas Monkey. He has one too, but there was another dude who built an F100.
Oh yeah,
that had like Tilton pedals in the pedal box and like all this crazy shit. And if I could like buy my 65 F100 back and then like keep the outside looking the same, obviously it would sit a little bit lower. And the one thing I loved about the 390s is that you like swap the crank and it's a 428 or some crazy shit like that.
Throw like Holley fuel injection on that, make it reliable. And
and I'd almost like quiet the exhaust up a little bit, or at least have cutouts. Be like, oh, sorry, just no, mild-mannered truck, blah, 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 like, woof, gone.
I have cutouts on my Mustang, and I'm like about to remove them. Like, it doesn't sound good. It's obnoxious. It's like it's the cutouts are before the H-pipe, the crossover. So it just really sounds like 2 4-cylinders. And it's just it's not nice. It's just loud. And it's like, I'll never really like uncork that and like
Yeah.
experience any power gain or any like more pleasure in driving. So I think I'm just going to eliminate those.
That's funny. The Oliver Picard at the Ollie Picard, most and least favorite automotive paint colors of all time, and you can extend that to wheels if you fancy. I'll let you go first on this one.
Porsche Ruby Stone.
Favorite.
Favorite. 100%. You know, I'm colorblind, so like certain colors like just don't pop for me. It's like, you know, British Racing Green and like certain brown tones, like they work on certain cars, but like for me, like I need pop. Like visual punch is a huge part of like my aesthetic enjoyment. And I hate black cars, even though my Tahoe is black. Like I really wish I didn't have a black car. Like, you know, it just shows all of the imperfections. It's like
this thing is dusty all the fucking time.
Exactly. They're clean once. The day you buy it and drive it off the lot. After that, it's never clean and perfect again. Like, you know, white car hides so much. Like even just doing that, wiping the dust off, you're like creating scratches and swirls like on your car. Like you're damaging it. Like you can't wipe down a black car. But yeah, I love Ruby Stone. It's like such a unique and such an iconic color for me, and it's like very 90s.
Yeah.
And, you know, I could see it on a newer car. Like I see it on a newer Porsche. Like I would, there's not a car that I would not drive if it was painted Ruby Stone.
Okay.
Like 50s, 60s, 70s, all the way to today, Ruby Stone is my absolute favorite color. I would drive anything painted Ruby Stone.
So is black your least favorite?
100%.
That makes sense. As a kid, I always wanted like a fleet of black cars, and now owning one, I'm like, I still love this car, black and gold for life, but I need to like hire an intern to just wipe the dust off. It's fucking every day. It's like even just sitting in the garage, it gets covered in dust. I need a car cover is what I need.
It won't help. It won't do anything.
No, I know.
In fact, a car cover will actually create more swirls and imperfections than if it was left uncovered.
Yeah, so
you just can't wipe it down. You can't wipe it down dry. You've always got to wipe it with like a detailer and like you know, the perfect microfiber.
Right. I think my favorite car color, as cliche as it is, it's hard for me to get away from most greens. I'm not going to say British Racing Green. There's a couple of the greens in the vintage Mercedes palette that I really like, and that I want to either
like
paint.
Slate green, like non-metallic.
Like remember that wagon that was at Radwood? That from Belgium, there was a perfect 123 wagon there that I was drooling over at Radwood.
I thought that car was tan. I didn't know.
No, it was a gorgeous green. It's like it's lighter than BRG, and it's just that's gonna be my favorite. My least favorite is I don't hate black. I used to hate white, but every automaker's white paint got so much better since, like, I want to say it goes back to a couple generations ago, Cadillac Escalade, where they were like throwing pearl in their whites. And then people were like, oh, we can make white look good. And then everybody's white got way better. So I don't really have.
I think Lexus predates Cadillac with that. Lexus, like,
that's true.
Like introduced pearl white with like the LS400, like probably the first or second generation. And like, that was when everybody was like, oh, like Cadillac did like respond with pearl white STS, but like I think Lexus like had the first like really beautiful pearl white that like kind of, I don't want to say upset the industry, but like everybody noticed.
I think then I'm going to take a stand. I think my least favorite automotive color is yellow. And then also I never fell in love with the Mystic Mystichrome. I didn't care for that. When
I see those color changing like color flop wraps nowadays that harken back to Mystic and Mystichrome, like I'm just like, you guys are 25 years late. Like this is not fresh. Like
I see them mostly on Teslas.
Really?
I see them mostly on like model fucking X's.
I see it on McLaren's, Lamborghinis, like just like obnoxious. You know, supercars and hypercars. I'm like, what's the point? Like, you don't get enough attention. Like
every Tesla,
like setting your car on fire in every parking lot and every like car gathering there is. Like, flat paint.
Yeah. Victor Troya at Vic Troya 21. What is your favorite off-road trail in Southern California? Ron, what's your favorite off-road trail in Southern? Is it King of the Hammers?
I went to, by the way, over the weekend, I went to basically Johnson Valley, like the border of Johnson Valley, to like a Airbnb in Yucca Valley.
Okay.
Like literally like across the valley, like across like a little ravine from Johnson Valley. And luckily I had our lifted Gladiator from work. It's a Gladiator with like ready lift suspension, 38s on KMC beadlocks, and like
Jesus.
I was planning to take my Audi, but my Audi got broken into. Somebody smashed the windshield of my car.
Yeah.
And stole a bunch of shit, which sucked. And like I just like gotten new wheels and tires on it. I was like already.
Oh, hey, by the way, update: our dash cams have shipped.
All right.
Those are coming.
But yeah, it was super disappointing. I couldn't drive my Audi. But if I didn't know that this vacation on this Airbnb was on a crazy dirt road, and I never would have been
screwed.
Would have been able to access it in the Audi to begin with. Plus, I would have been pissed at how dirty it would have gotten after like a full detail. But yeah, this Gladiator is like just handled it with aplomb. It was just no issue, and it was just like it's like huge like ravines and just like crevices in the road. And I'm like, this can't be it. Like this is not the way. Like nobody drives on this road just to get home. But sure enough, like Yucca Valley guys, like everybody drives like a lifted truck or a UTV, and it's like nothing to them. So.
Yep.
I would say that road was probably the most treacherous trail that I've personally navigated outside of King of the Hammer support vehicle status,
right.
Which I did not handle very well, but there's my answer.
I like the one near me where I test the off-road stuff, Maple Springs Truck Trail. It's not like something crazy, but I just have a lot of memories of driving some fun stuff up there, stopping at Four Corners when I'm not testing things. I can't stress this enough. When I'm not testing things and having a beer with my buddy Derek in his whatever year Bronco, like 60.
Is that where you took the new Bronco and his old Bronco?
Yeah. Well, and then I've driven my daughter up and down there a bunch. That's really fun. And then trying to think where else we would go in Southern California. Yeah, I mean, that's probably maybe it's not a long one. It's not a big one, but you get to the tallest peak in Orange County. So you can, kind of look out everywhere. So I'll just go with Maple Springs Truck Trail as my easy answer. Last question from Twitter.
Before that, you want to learn me the ropes? There?
Oh, yeah.
While I have it?
Yes, we could do that for sure. Especially because I just got this in the mail. I ordered, I hit my mic. A portable air compressor so that we can air down at the start of the trail and then air back up when we're done.
All right.
And I'm waiting. I ordered from Adventure Imports this thing called the Indiflate. It's a hose that you can do 2 tires at a time. So you equalize the pressure between the 2 tires. Yeah.
That's cool.
Stoked on that. Yeah. Wes Seiler convinced me to buy this, so I bought it, and
we'll gladly employ it because my tire inflator, my compressor got stolen out of my Audi. So.
Fuck, dude. That sucks. Well, this one is, I think, beefier anyway. This is like for like inflating RV
much more
tires.
Serious than my Duracell.
Yeah. Last question from Team Radar Love at Midnight Drifto. If you had unlimited advertising dollars and had to build a drift car, what would you build? I would build, trying to think of something different. I always wanted to see a Fox body drift car.
There was one. Did you ever see Drift Patrol? Like in the early days.
Okay.
Whatever the first years they actually ran at Long Beach street course here, like in association with Long Beach Grand Prix.
Yep.
Back in the early days, I want to say like 2005, 2006. There was a Fox body notchback that was called Drift Patrol. It basically looked like a CHP car, like
nice
car. So it was the black and white with the had light bar on the top, and it was competitive. But this is back when anybody was competitive. It was just like if you had a handbrake, an angle kit, and like 250 horsepower, you were competitive.
Right. So the Fox body would be up there, but I really think just because I just looked over my shoulder here, it'd be like this era XJ or not the XJS Coupe.
The Coupe
would be like a sick drift car, and then you would have to go full like John Player special livery though on it.
100%, yeah.
Dude, that'd be the coolest, and the guy would have to wear like leather gloves and like
The,
smoke cigarettes.
The knuckles open.
Yep. Even though it's like not FIA safe or anything, like you'd have to have those, but like fire suit material underneath it. Yeah, so I would go with an XJS drift car with I don't care what's underneath it. It'd have to be like some manner of nitrous injected LS, blah, blah, blah. 'Cause you have to make 1,000 horsepower these days.
Yeah.
What would you run?
I'd want a truck, probably a mini truck.
I like that.
I would insist on V8 power, say LS or, some big bore V8 with nitrous or supercharger, probably supercharger. I just love supercharger line, but maybe a Ranger. Because a lot of like the suspension, like the rear end from a Mustang was like interchangeable with the Ranger. They both had 8.8s. There was a lot of 5.0 conversions, so maybe a 5.0, like a Stroker 5.0 supercharged in a like a Ranger Splash or something like that.
That would be fucking rad.
They're light, they're compact, and like they have a decent wheelbase. Yeah, it's not too twitchy. Like you'd be able to control a slide and something like that. And there's all sorts of bolt-on suspension components, and I think you could make something cool out of that. I like that answer. That's a good one. That would be a lot of fun. That's all the Twitter questions I have. That is all the topics I have for this week. Autopia 2099 is this week. Well, shit. Actually, no. By the time this airs, it's over. It happened and it went so great. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming. We've got a lot of registered people. It was funny, like a week before. So backing up, a week before the event, we had like 25 registered guests. And then like as of whatever period in time, like before the event happens, we're now over 100 and like, nice. So stoked on it. 100 was the number I wanted to hit and we're over it. And, could be some walk-ups day of and all that stuff, and automakers are interested, and I secured a food truck after one backed out. And what are we eating? It's like a mix of Mexican and American, and I found them on Thumbtack. Have you ever used that app? No, what is it? Normally I use it to like if you need like an electrician or like something like that. And I was trying this other website that's like in charge of like a bunch of food trucks, and like the person did the initial email follow-up. Yeah, we need blah, blah, blah. Reply to this email and we'll start the process and blah, blah, blah. And I replied, and then they never followed up. I was like, well, what the fuck? And then I found food trucks on Thumbtack, and one was like, we would love to be there. We can definitely do it. I was like, okay, awesome. And so we'll see how it goes. But either way, it went great is what I meant. Yes, it was incredible. I actually was talking to Volkswagen today. I'm like, can you bring these two off-road vehicles? And they're like, we didn't even know about this. They're going to be on a truck like Monday or Sunday, but so we think we could maybe make that work. So, but we also have like I keep saying we're going to have, but we'll talk about it after it happens then for real. Sure. I'll save it, all that stuff, but there's cool shit for sure. Tell everybody where they can find you on the social medias. First, you let me know if you need help with logistics and either getting vehicles there or anything like that. If you just need hands on deck, I'll be there, and I'll be at your mercy. I am 777 style on Instagram and the web, and there's not a lot going on. We're going to start ramping up with projects in the next couple months, I hope. Some potentially really exciting stuff involving friends of mine. that's but that's where I'm at. You guys will see it. I'm very excited for that. I know what he's talking about. Follow me at Hooniverse Jeff. What's that? I don't think you do. This isn't that? I don't even know what you're talking about. I got so much going on. I honestly don't even remember what I've told anybody. But all right, no, all right. I feel like I do know this one though. Irons in the fire. We shall see. Okay. Someone bought a building. Oh somewhere? No, it's not that. Oh, okay. Oh, that is going swimmingly as well. Okay, great. That's good. Never mind then. I've said too much. At Hooniverse Jeff, like and subscribe to the podcast, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we will see the rest of your wonderful faces and notes and comments and all that shit later on. And hopefully I saw you at Autopia if you're in the area. Bye.